Hi, good morning everybody. This is Jean here. After this little introduction, I'm going to be showing you another video with me and Jen. I'm talking about our block party. We're putting our blocks together now. We've done all 20 of them. Jen was here the other day and we did a bit of a recap with her blocks. But what we're working on next for our blocks is we're putting them together with our sashings and our cornerstones. Just to reiterate what's coming up with Jen is we are working on the premise, Jen and I, of having 12.5-inch finished blocks. These are our blocks, 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. So what I was telling Jen to do, I'm just going to do a little bit of a closer up right now, is what you're wanting to cut to put our blocks together after you've put them together, after you've figured out your layout. Perhaps dark, light, or maybe another tip is to take a photograph with black and white, and it shows you the value. You might want to step back and say, oh, that looks a little bit too dark there. I'll mix one of them up. It's just a little tip on getting your color placement right for your blocks. Somebody had said, could I use something other than white sashing? Well, of course. Jen and I are using this. What I've done is a very, very safe colorway, and I'm using, as Jen is, white sashing on our white blocks. Some of you have black background, and whatever color, you can make these all different colors. You can change it up. By all means, your sashing is whatever your preference is. Ours is white, both Jen's and ours. Ours are very traditional sampler quilt looking. They're very safe. What I was teaching Jen. So what you're going to need for your sashing and for your cornerstones is you're going to be needing 49 2.5-inch by 12.5-inch strips. That is if your blocks are 12.5 inches. If your blocks finish here at 12 inches or 11.5 inches or 13, and whatever they finish at, that is the size you want your sashing. So if you have 12-inch blocks, you're going to want a 2.5-inch by 12-inch piece of sashing. We are working on the premise of a 12.5-inch block, 12.5-inch sashings. You're going to need 49 of them. For your cornerstones, the little squares that punctuate the sashing, you are going to be needing 30 2.5-inch squares. Now again, I talked about this with Jen. They can either be a random selection, which I have from your fat quarters, a solid that you want to sort of unify the quilt together, or, as Jen is doing, fussy cutting, one image out of her fabric that we'll be showing you after this little video, after this introduction. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing, which I've also showed with Jen, I'm going to just be showing you this sort of the rough pattern or chart of how I'm actually going to put my sashing rows and my block rows together. Very simple. And at the end of the exercise, when Jen was here, as you'll see, she got it. She was saying, well, 5 months ago I wouldn't have got it. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But because this is it, 5 months into it, basically, we're creating a big block, finishing our quilts up. We're having one row attached to the other row, nested seams together. She's like, oh, I was so excited when you were explaining it. She said, I got it. So I'm not going to go into great detail because hopefully at the end of 5 months, if you're beginners, you will get it. You will understand the construction method of your quilt top. It's just the cutting. You want your sashings and your cornerstones to be cut well. You're going to be using a 1/4-inch seam, and then you're going to be nesting your seams together. This is, my block party will be contingent, as we were saying with Jen, how she gets on. It's the summertime coming up. She wants to get this done, but I have things to do. I can't show you my whole quilt top put together because it's not together right yet. I'm just showing you how to do the rows. I'll get it together, and then we'll address the backing and the actual quilting. Jen and I are doing the exact same quilting. You can quilt it however. Some people have already quilted their quilts who are more advanced quilters. You can see that on my web page, www.thewhateverquiltclub.com. Community blocks, beautiful. I'm trying to put up, if you have a large monitor, the beautiful almost all the finished blocks that are done. Gorgeous. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to be putting my camera on the actual pattern. The D and the L on this rough piece of paper are dark and light if you choose to do that setting. 10 dark, 10 light. And again, you don't have 10 dark or 10 light like I do, but the value, you can sort of separate them. And then the eye it's pleasing around the quilt. However you want to do that. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my camera up, show you the actual pattern here, and how to construct the sashing and the rows. So, yeah, and then just to follow, Jen came into my sewing room the other day and we were having a chat. So, Jean's block party. We're putting our quilt top together, folks. Okay, thanks. Hey, everybody, it's Jean here. I have Jen back in the sewing room, and what we're going to be doing, this is Jean's block party 2018. I had Jen here a while ago, and we've rounded up our blocks that she's done.
All 20.
20 of them, and now we got to put them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got to quilt them.
Then we got to quilt.
So we talked about how we're going to quilt it, but for right now, what I want to show you, I want to show Jen, I want to address a couple things. As you know, our blocks should have finished at
12.5 inches.
12.5 inches. Now, did yours?
Mostly. I have one that is like 3 scants off.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. But so what I'm getting I'm getting a few comments from people texting me saying, or messaging me saying, my quilt blocks for whatever reason are 12.25 inches.
Okay.
Somebody said they were 11 inches. How did that? I don't know how that happened. But that's cool. Whatever it is. And I think on block 16 or 17 with the the half square triangles, I showed you how to make your block bigger.
Yes.
To come up to 12.5 inches. My point is, at this juncture, after you've finished all 20 blocks, extremely important, the most important thing is that all your blocks, whatever size they are, hopefully 12.5 inches, are the exact same size.
Okay.
Okay? They need to, at this point, be the exact same size, whatever that size may be. Because now we're going to be doing the sashing and the cornerstones. The sashing in a quilt, we have 4 blocks across, 5 rows down.
Yes.
We are going to be putting a sashing, which if you don't know, is a piece of fabric between each block.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to be putting we have this block here, we have that block there.
It keeps going.
And it keeps going.
So it's kind of like framing each block a little
Exactly,
bit.
exactly. Okay. But how we're going to construct this is, before we get to that, if you can refer back to the last video for Jean's block party, I was explaining to Jen, you now have taken a picture perhaps or got it in your head after you've laid out all your blocks in a light, dark manner. You can refer back to the last video of how we actually did that. So you've separated them into a lighter dark, however, and then you've set them into a pleasing arrangement.
Yeah.
Whatever
and
that
take a
may be.
picture.
And yeah, take a picture because we're going to now be sewing them. How we're going to be doing this is we're going to be. I'm going to take my camera. Just I can't do it on the. I don't know how to do it.
You can even zoom in on it.
I don't know if it might get yeah. So what this is just my it's my ghetto version of a pattern.
Actually, it goes that
Oh,
way.
I know.
I was upside down. Sorry.
That really be messed up. So this is our quilt. This is what we're ending up looking. Our 4 blocks across, our 5 rows down. I'll put the camera on there so you can actually see this for quite a few frames to make maybe your own. Is that way? Oh yeah. To make your own copy to see what you're actually looking at. What we're going to be doing is you're going to be cutting. As you know, we're going to be cutting for me and Jen.
Yeah.
We're using white fabric.
Right.
For our blocks. Our sashing is going to be white. Jen's is going to be white and mine's going to be my tone on tone. So what we're going to be needing is these vertical lines here are our sashing. They go down, horizontal, and vertical. You're going to be needing 49
Okay.
2.5 inch strips by our 12.5 inches.
Okay.
So you're going to cut 49 2.5 by 12.5 inch pieces.
Okay.
Then on these little black dots there are the cornerstones. It's just a 2.5 inch square.
So
And they are the quilt. Each block has a little cornerstone punctuated along the whole top of the quilt. Now I'm choosing to do a scrappy method for my cornerstones.
So she has all her different fabrics.
I've used all my different fabrics but if you want to have a bit more unity, you could get maybe one solid, whatever your colorways are.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you have black blocks, maybe with like a orange or yellow or blue, and maybe you want to just pull out one color and have one color. But what we're going to need, Jen is using, you want to go get it?
Sure.
Yeah, Jen is using her bee fabric. If you remember, Jen has been fussy cutting her bee fabric. Now, why have you chosen to do the bee fabric?
So I didn't have a lot of fabric left because I had to redo several blocks several times in the beginning. Right. So, but I had a lot of this that I had ordered online on Etsy, I believe. And so
tons.
I have tons. So I have enough for how many cornerstones?
Okay, so now we're going to be needing, again, you can refer to this chart, we're going to be needing 30
bees.
2.5 inch squares.
So I have plenty.
So Jen will be fussy cutting out of this. You'll just get the bee with a little bit of the honeycomb. Yeah, yeah. So Jen will be fussy cutting, which means to isolate this one image, 30 of them. Yeah. I now have 30. I cut out 30 2.5 inch squares from all of my fabrics. If you're choosing to do your cornerstones one solid color, brilliant. So that is what you need. Now, to make this easier, at this point, I think you know how to construct rows.
Yes.
Okay?
Definitely.
So, by all means, this is your pattern at this point.
Okay.
So what we're doing, and we have one row, 2 rows. So what you're going to do, I'm sweating, excuse me, is you're going to be constructing row 1. You're going to be setting out, grabbing your cornerstones.
You want me to hold it out?
Yeah. So one row. So this is the top row. Again, we'll refer back to our pattern. You're going to be making a top row, okay? And then you're going to be making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these rows. Again, refer back to here.
Which has 4 of these and 5 of these.
Right. So each row that has your cornerstones, you're having 4 cornerstones. You're having 4 2.5 inch strips and 5 cornerstones. Refer to this pattern here and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of this unit.
Okay.
1/4 inch seam.
That's easy.
Okay? That is easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So again,
we've done that in blocks, so
right,
I get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's almost like
a skinny block.
It's a skinny, long block, okay?
Yeah.
You're just putting your 1/4 inch seam, very careful to do your 1/4 inch seams.
Got it.
Now, also, what I want you to do when you do your first little cornerstone, I want you to backstitch.
Okay.
Because we've never backstitched.
We've never done that.
We've never backstitched in our quilting venture here. Because quilting, you don't really backstitch because each intersection is in another intersection. So quilters, as a rule, don't backstitch. However, the outside blocks here, the outside corners of the outside border, it's going to end up, because we're not putting a border on, there could be a little bit of stress on that first block.
Okay.
And the stitches could come apart.
Got it.
So the backstitch the first and backstitch the last.
Okay.
Okay? So
and we backstitch, is it like when you sew like a garment, so you do it when you start and you do it when you end?
Exactly.
That
exactly. And you just do it, you go in and you go, well, what I actually do is, because you might, your fabric might get chewed up in that little
right.
thing. So you go in, excuse me, I'm sweating. You go in about 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
And then you start, and then you backstitch, and then you come back.
Okay.
Just to make sure that these ends here don't unravel. because there's going to be a little bit of stress there.
Okay.
So you're going to be making 6 of this strip set here, that strip there. Then our blocks in your configuration, you have to have it laid out so you have your configuration. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be stitching one 12.5-inch strip, and then to your next block, another 12.5-inch strip. I mean, another block. So again, follow your pattern here. You're going to be having 4 blocks, and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips. And it should, whatever size they are, that's your second row, that's your 4th row, your 6th row, your 8th row, your 10th row.
Okay.
Okay?
It's one big block.
It's exactly. We're just putting our blocks together.
Okay.
And by rows, row by row. You have a skinny row and a bigger row. You have a skinny row and a bigger row. Again.
I understand what she's talking about.
You got it.
I totally get it.
Okay, so then what are you going to do when you have your, and again, you're going to set your seams.
Yeah.
You're going to press, you're going to press to the inside.
Yeah.
You're going to press to the dark, and then you're going to press them out.
Right.
So what's going to happen when you go to,
they're going to line up.
they're going to nest.
Yeah.
This one here is going to nest
into that one.
into that one.
Yeah.
And I like the, sometimes using sashing, there's a method you can just use a plain, you can just use sashing without cornerstones. Just strip. But it's a little bit tricky to then get your blocks in a straight line across. So the cornerstones at a beginner stage, you're thinking, oh, I don't want all those cornerstones, cutting all that, sewing all them. When you go to construct it, you're only worrying about this 12.5 inches. And then, oh, I can nest that cornerstone with that seam.
Yeah.
And that cornerstone with that seam. So you will know.
It gives you a little leeway.
Exactly. That everything is completely straight.
Yeah.
That your cornerstones, your lovely bit of pop of fabric, are going to be in the perfect exact place at each corner of your blocks.
Okay.
So it might be a little bit extra work initially to cut everything out, to stitch it all, but to actually construct your quilt top, it's nicer, it's easier.
Okay.
So that's basically.
I know how to do this. I'm so excited.
You're good.
I get it. I totally understand every word you just said.
Okay, brilliant. Like 5 months ago, she wouldn't have had a clue.
I'd be like, what are you
She
talking
couldn't spell
about?
quilter.
I know. Seriously. I was like, how do I hold this ruler?
Yeah.
I get this.
So you get it.
I'm
So
excited.
we're going to be constructing 11 rows of our block.
Okay. So how long do you think that would take you to do?
This will take me a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah, this will take me a couple hours.
Okay.
I cut out all of my strips. I have to cut out some more strips.
Okay.
Because that's the biggest thing. You want nice 2.5-inch strips, and you want your nice that takes some. You want your 2.5-inch.
Don't rush.
Blocks. Don't rush this.
Yeah.
Because again and again, your 1/4-inch seam.
Right.
Again, whatever. We are doing 12.5 inches. We're going 2.5 inches by 12.5 inches because Jen's and my blocks are exactly 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. So then our strips are 12.5 inches and our squares are 2.5 inches. So it all should mesh together and come together real well.
Awesome.
Very important backstitch.
Yes.
Your beginning and your ending on the top. Okay, where all of your. Not the inner ones, but the top ones.
Got it. The outside.
Yeah, the outside ones that you know are going to be on the outside. Just reinforce that.
Okay.
Be very careful not to stretch because that's the end of our quilt top. We're not putting a border on it. I started this out by wanting to put a border on it.
Right.
And it's going to be too big. I don't know how big this quilt is.
It's big.
It's not that big.
Well, it's not a big.
It's not a big. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I mean, she does king size quilts. But
I
it's
know.
the biggest quilt I've ever
I know.
I did like a couple crappy baby ones.
No, they weren't crappy. They were lovely. I'm being nice. No.
This is going to be epic.
This is an heirloom. This is going into the Smithsonian Jones quilt. I'll tell you.
Can I put it in a quilt show? They would be like, who does she think she is?
No, I was looking at quilt show after we went to the quilt show. Remember I sent you some of those
yes.
Oh, and the lady, the president of the APQS or something, American Quilt Society, is like, you must enter your quilts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think so.
I think she should.
No, I don't think so.
What do you think? I think she should. Comment below. Tell her to enter her quilts.
No, I'm not seriously, no, I don't. Is Parker okay?
Oh yeah,
he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, there's Parker. So anyway, that's that. She's going to enter her quilts. This quilt is going to be epic. We're doing this, so the next time it's contingent on you.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be constructing our backing.
So I'll put it together, and then I'll come and you'll show me what to do to quilt it.
Yes.
And then we still have to bind it, right?
Then we have to do the binding, which is a whole other thing. And I bind a certain way.
Are we going to round these?
No.
Oh, we're not?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So we're going to miter them.
I think we're going to miter them.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a YouTube something. Anyway, send me a link on how to miter corners. I round my corners.
I love that about your quilts, though.
Oh, you like that?
I think it's pretty. I don't know if it works with our block thing.
Yeah. Some blocks, I think, again, these quilt blocks. So many of you are very adventurous. I always get that word.
Yeah.
I think they're 2 words. So many of you are so thinking outside the box. It's awesome. Your quilt blocks.
Yeah. Very creative.
And yeah, very. Mm-hmm. I like to do that, but on this venture, I've been extremely conservative.
Yeah. Trying
to just do maybe something that my grandmother did. You know, the white background and showing Jen. This is very, very safe what we've done.
Yeah.
Very classic, simple blocks in a sampler quilt block. So I'm not gonna. That's why I'm saying I don't think I'll round the corners.
Okay.
I think I'll learn how to miter corners. I've done it before, but to try to teach it, is
right?
Like, you know.
Right.
And as you know,
I'm just gonna do what she does. So.
I don't hand sew anything. You know that,
right? Yes.
And a lot of people don't mind binding and hand sewing it, stitching it to the front, turning it to the back. I stitch to the back and turn to the front and machine stitch it. And I think that's how I'm going to teach you. That's how I'm going to teach you. But I would
love to learn that way because I've mentioned before I have many of her quilts and the binding never ever comes apart.
Right, and it's machined and it's
Yeah.
And but I will show you. It's basically the same principle. You stitch to the front and you turn to the back, and then you can hand stitch it. You folks who like to hand stitch, I hate it. So I will teach you that. But that's then. For now, you're going to construct your quilt top. So isn't this exciting? So anyway, hone it. Yeah. Well, yeah. We're almost done.
Episode-wise, it's going to take me who knows how long to
Who knows? So it's however long Jen's going to take. It might not be every Sunday coming. It was every Sunday blocks. I'll be putting up little videos. I have a few videos in the can already, just some silly little things that I'll put up now and again. Not actually teaching.
I'm going to work at it, though, so that we can get it.
So because there are people.
There are people
waiting for Jen to finish up. So if she doesn't finish up, you can blame Jen.
No, I'm finishing.
Yeah, she's finishing. So by all means, I'll put this up. I'll let you have a look. The D and the L, I don't know, it looks like, is the dark and the light. Again, if whatever your configuration is, whatever your pattern makes you happy, do it that way. But I just like the idea. I have 10 dark. I have 10 light. Nice. Jen's doing that also.
Yeah.
And putting them in, take a picture. And then we're going to construct our block. One big block to make our quilt block. That's it. So that's it. Oh, your backing. Oh, we showed that in the last video, but you can see. This is my backing. I'm excited. Red is my favorite color. So my quilt, this is a pretty light, airy, springy, but I wanted to sort of make it a little bit darker on the back. So I got this. It's from the pattern line. It's from the fabric line, I should say. This red, I love it. And Jen's quilt is
blue.
Primarily blue, white, and yellow. So her backing is blue. And you can quilt with white thread.
Yes, that's what
I'm going to quilt with white thread.
Which I have to go buy.
Yeah, she has to go buy her white thread and your other white fabric.
Yeah.
So that's our cornerstone and sashing for Jean's block party. We are putting our blocks together, folks.
I can't believe we're here.
We're here. We're here. Our blocks are almost done. It's been wonderful. We'll be back a couple times more to put our quilts completely together. You can then see everybody's beautiful quilts on the web page. Send me tons of pictures.
Yeah.
Send tons of pictures, because I'm just gonna spam my web page. Just keep putting blocks up. It's been a visual delight. It's been such a lovely treat, and we've really loved it.
So fun. Thank you for teaching us.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher.
Get out of town.
And I'm a blocker student.
I know.
Hopefully.
No, I'm still blocker. So anyway, folks, get your cornerstones, get your sashing, get your fabrics in order, and get those quilt tops done. And we'll see Jen back when she's finished.
All right, see you then.
See ya. Bye. So I wanted to show you what I'm talking about, constructing the rows, the top row. You're going to be constructing this skinny sashing and cornerstone row. And you're going to be needing 5 for each row. You're going to be needing 5 cornerstones and 4 sashing strips. And you're literally just going to be putting them together, 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch there, all the way across until you get the whole quilt. I'm not showing the whole quilt here, but we're going to be constructing this quilt top in rows. Your sashing row, your block row, and then another sashing row. Now what pattern or what diagram you're going to be following is this. This is what I was showing to Jen. I printed her out a copy, my very, very rough copy. I'll put a photograph of this at the very end. And what it is, it's showing our rows. Our row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sashing and cornerstone rows. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 block rows. And this is how you're going to construct the block rows. You're going to have a sashing strip and a block. Sashing strip and a block. Sashing strip and a block, and so on until you have your 4 blocks across and your 5 rows down. 4 blocks across, 5 rows down. And then when you have all your skinny sashing rows and your fat block rows, you're just going to flip them over right sides together, and then you're going to nest this seam and this seam along as you're doing. You're going to iron, you're going to press this to the dark side, you're going to press this out. So these nest really well together. What I do want you to be aware of on this outside corner here and on these stitching here, adjust, because this is the edge of your quilt. This is the very top and this is the very side of your quilt. I want you to be very careful of back stitching. We haven't back stitched anywhere here, if you remember. We don't back stitch in quilting, but I want you to back stitch when you're doing these top and side borders, as it were, the sashing, because they will have the tendency to have perhaps come apart and fray with manipulating your fabrics. So you don't want that to happen. So on the top ones, when you're attaching your cornerstones, just do a nice back stitch. So that is it. That is it. This is our pattern. Again, you're going to be needing 49 of the sashing strips and 30 of the cornerstones, however you wish to have them. I'll put a photograph of this up so you can refer to it. Again, the D and the L is the dark and the light, if that's how you choose to do it. So there's our quilt top ready to be put together. And now, as I said, Jen was in my sewing room, and we had a bit of a laugh, and she's all raring to go with our quilt top ready to be put together, ready to be quilted. Okay, stay tuned. Thanks.